It's not often that you get to say first in the world. This event is the first of its kind in the entire planet. Poetry on picnic tables. We've researched it, and artificial intelligence grok says Cobourg is the place to be. And I can say all over the world people read books. It's only in Cobourg where people read picnic tables. So invite your friends to come down and read a picnic table. Now, I'm going to hand over the mic soon. I will have words to say at the end, but I'd like to introduce it with the town crier, with the cry and the land acknowledgement.
Standing upon and honour the unceded lands of the Mississauga, Anishinaabe and the Chippewa. We offer our gratitude to our First Nations peoples for their care of and teachings about our earth and our relations. May we ever continue to honour these teachings. My lords, my ladies, good citizens of Cobourg, and all who would be present in Canada's first poem town for this unique, first of its kind event across the planet. It is my great honour and privilege as Cobourg's town crier to share this prestigious occasion with all of you. Let it be known that upon this 28th day of April in the year of our Lord, 2025, that Poet Cry, in partnership with the town of Cobourg, did unveil Picnic on Poetry to the world, to witness historical legacy in the making. The poetic picnic table is the creative genius of the master of words himself, from the glorious imagination of the People's Republic of Poetry, the rare, one-of-a-kind person, my good friend, Mr. Wally Keeler. Can I hear it for him, please? Let it also be known that powerful, embedded tabletop expressions of art and poetry blends words, colour, and creativity to reflect the voices of our community, through which we celebrate connection, inclusion, and the stories we share in shared spaces. Poetry is potency. Poetry is free speech. Huge congratulations from the town of Cobourg and all assembled to witness and celebrate the unveiling of this masterpiece, the incredible accomplished feat of art and poetry. And may God save the King.
history. This is official. This is the mayor, and he makes things official by his presence. And I invite the mayor to speak about poetry of all things. Take it away.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Keeler. No need for an applause, but I do appreciate the opportunity to speak. I'm joined here by several of our council colleagues. I've got the Deputy Mayor, Councillor Burkett, Councillor Darling. I believe I saw, there's Councillor Mouton, and of course Councillor Barber. We've got almost a full house. I see directors, Director Gertz, thanks for joining, as well as other staff members. So good evening, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to Victoria Park, welcome to Cobourg, and most importantly, let's make a round of applause. Welcome to Poem Town. We are also honored this evening to welcome retired Ontario Superior Court Judge, Mr. James Clark, who himself a former town Cobourg councillor, and whose own words will now forever grace a table here in this very park. Thank you for joining us today, Mr. Clark. Definitely a round of applause, distinguished guests. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we gather not just to unveil picnic tables, but to celebrate something that is much deeper. And that's the power of poetry to transform the everyday into something extraordinary. This is more about just art. It's about accessibility. It's about imagination. And it's about pride in our cultural identity. From Shakespeare to our local students, from Susanna Moody to James Clark, these words will connect generations, and they invite reflection, perhaps over a sandwich or a game of cards in this beautiful park. I'd like to say thank you to our variety of curators. Kate Rogers, who curated poetry naturally and a table of natural poems and nature poems. Shane Joseph of Blue Denim Press, who curated Table Tales, a table of short stories. Wally Keeler himself, who curated the Ontario Superior Court Judge, James Clark, table himself. Spirit of the Hills Writers Group, who curated their table. Kate, would you pronounce the last name? Sorry. Huggenau, thank you so much. Who curated a poem of one's own, a table of women's poetry. CCI students, who curated the Archibald Lamon, Susan Moody, and the Bard table. Shakespearean sonnets, and of course the one and only Mandy Robinson, who curated a table of her Catholic poetry. Of course, we all need to give a round of applause and extend our deepest gratitude to the one and only Wally Keeler and Dave Queenie, who spearheaded this project. Please join me in saying thank you. I'll keep it short and sweet. As Leonard Cohen once wrote, poetry is just the evidence of life. It is your life burning. Is your life... My apologies, Mr. Cohen. I got this wrong. I'll start from scratch. Poetry is just the evidence of life. If your life is burning well, poetry is just the ash. So I welcome each and every one of you, as well as every resident of Cobourg, to sit, to read, to reflect, and let the poetry find you as we enjoy this incredibly generous community day after day. Thank you for allowing us in council to be here, and thank you for giving us a chance to say thank you to you for this incredible project. It's been a lot of work, we understand that. I've seen firsthand every trial and tribulation in terms of lettering, the sizing, the distance. This isn't just one day they woke up and made this happen. This is months and years of work, and on behalf of the town of Cobourg and staff and this community as a whole, we will be forever in your debt for this work. Thank you, sir.
I'd like to invite Dave Glennie, my partner in this project. Dave Glennie. And we got something, this is for the mayor's office. This, an artifact, and a little slogan at the back just for you.
For those who don't read it, it says, "Newspeak is no speak."
Yeah!
We'll hang this with pride at the mayor's office on our Northumberland Art Gallery wall, so that it can sort of be there for all time.
Very good.
Thank you.
For the mayor's office there.
Yes, you're very welcome. And James Clark had requested not to read a poem not up to it, and we thought we will respect that as well, but the table filled with his poetry. And we'll move along to another table, and that's the table
So it's a great honour and a great privilege, not just for me as Cobourg's town crier, Cobourg's first female town crier, but as a person and as a human being who's gone through a long journey from the age of 7 right through to today, where my grandfather foretold that I would go through a lot of pain and heartache before a catalyst would form and I'd turn into a beautiful pearl. At the age of 7, he had me fish out a little pearl from an oyster, and I'm sitting on his knee gagging and feeling nauseated because I had to work through all this squidgy, gooey stuff to get to this pearl, which I still have today, and it's currently being mounted into a necklace.
in a 14 Shakespearean sonnet. And every sonnet, of course, has 15 lines in it. And that's the table that they've done. And they also curated a table of Archibald Lampman. Archibald Lampman is known as a Confederation poet. And he's a Confederation poet. He lived at that time. He came from Bewdley, and he attended Cobourg Collegiate just up here on King Street. There's a white building still there. And as a student there, he went to Toronto, and then he became famous as a Confederation poet with some other poets on that. And his table, I think, is that second one? Not entirely sure, because we covered them up without keeping track. Is that Archie's? Yeah. Good, okay. And we have one more, matter of fact, yeah, one more table by the students, and that's for Susanna Moody. And Susanna, and it's been a long time coming, so I introduce Susanna Moody.
1832. That's when I docked here, in Cobourg, having traversed all the way from the UK in abject fear, and feels at her strong heart the deadly pangs of death. Of Montreal I can say but little. The cholera was at its height, and the fear of infection, which increased the nearer we approached its shores, cast a gloom over the scene and prevented us from exploring its infected streets. We had left the cholera in England.
Of course.
Alrighty, everybody can hear me?
A little closer.
The curator of the nature table.
Hi everyone.
everyone. It's great to see you here. There are a few of the poets who have their poems on Poetry Naturally, which is the name of our tables, present today, so that's wonderful.
Called A Poem of Our Own, The Voice of Women in Poetry. And I invite Katie up to say a few words about this table.
Thanks, Molly. Thank you guys so much for being here. And I know we'll probably do it again. Please give another round of applause to Molly. This is quite a courageous undertaking, and it might not be evident all of the logistics that go into this. We dreamed of this quite a while ago, and I am so proud to be part of this because it's a beautiful testament to community and to the power of poetry. I didn't want to get tongue-tied, so I wrote just a short thing. And I want to thank we have many of the women poets here tonight who are on the table, so I want to thank you especially for coming out, and thanks to the sun too. When we read the words of another human who has trod the earth in shoes much like our own, we feel seen, known, and valued. Through the vehicle of language, we can come to understand that our own experiences, even our own lives, matter. And that is the staying power of art. Whether a novel, a song, or a picnic table etched with poems. When Wally asked me to curate the women's table, I was thrilled. The table is named A Poem of One's Own after Virginia Woolf's formative work, and I'm so excited for you to read the creative work of the formidable and diverse collective of female poets represented here. Because representation matters. Yesterday, years from today, and most especially right this very instant, in this particular historical moment, women's words matter. With gratitude, I present to you a poem of one's own, the Women's Poetry Table. May each of us, daughter, mother, father, son, and everyone in between, find a glimpse of our own reflection in the poems atop this work of public art. Thank you, Wally.
You've got very well-known, well-established poets, many from across Canada coming here.
Mr. Keeler, well deserved.
Yes, thank you.
It came out very well. The light, the sun shining on you. I like that. That's why you had that last two
My
lines.
very first poetry reading ever, this man organized it at the art gallery.
Yes. And when
One
Peter
person
went-
showed up.
Wally, tell me about this. This has got to be a proud day for both you and Dave.
Oh, excuse me, yes it is. We worked hard on this, and we're not inclined to talk about all the details and agony and suffering that we went through, just that it happened. And the saying was doing something that's never been done before, and we're having to learn how to do it as we go. And we did try different kinds of groups, but nobody could answer questions because nobody had ever done this. So that uniqueness made it worthwhile. And to see all these poets, all this culture that we have amongst us in our own community, let alone abroad, that was the thing to bring forward. Archibald Lampin, Susanna Moody, James Clark, and there's more poetic history in this town that we'd like to be able to bring up and put it in the park. And I think one of the last things I'd want to comment is, in concerns poetry, you can go to the library and poetry is a little orphan. It sits on a shelf, nobody takes it out. They go for biographies, history, how-to books and whatnot, but poetry, no. This is an opportunity to put it in the public domain and to put it in a place where people play, relax, eat. You couldn't get better than this to have it right there at their leisure. And I think eventually over the years, we're going to have picnic tables in many of the parks in Cobourg. And I look forward to a small map made by the town to go here and there.
and we're going to get some quality tourists from Queen's University, Trent University, U of T, English students who want to come down and spend a day immersed in poetry and prose.
Beautiful. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.